I tell my friends back at home and they're like, there's a bar on your campus? That's so weird. Actually, recently, I just did my minor. The minor was China and the global economy. So we actually spent 2 weeks in China, in Shanghai. I originally came I was dating somebody at the time.
The best reason.
Yeah, for love, right? Some of my friends just want to work in finance. They want to be accountants, which I could never. They want to be directors. They want to be CEOs, already planning their own company ideas.
Hi everyone and welcome to Study Portal's podcast, where you get action-packed guidance on what to study, where to study and how to actually afford it. And of course, real student stories from all around the world. Today, we dive into international business major. What does it feel to study that? It's actually one of the most popular study choices, according to Study Portals. So let's talk to the real student. Max is doing his bachelor's in international business and he is also Study Portal's intern. So if you are curious to know more about what does it feel like studying international business and working in a real company, stay tuned. Before we start, a quick word about Study Portals. We have an ecosystem of portals, bachelorsportal.com, mastersportal.com and phdportal.com, where you can make the best study choice for you absolutely for free. Filter by tuition fees, countries, majors, and if you sign up, you'll get personalized recommendations about scholarships. Also, we have AI advisor Sophia. This AI tool helps you with all questions related to studying abroad. And we have Study Portal Scholarship. You can win 10,000 euros to sponsor your studying. Deadline is 1st of June. All the links below. I bring you Max. And don't forget to subscribe and leave your comment. We will make sure to personally come and answer all your questions. Max, let's pretend that it's first time I meet you. So I would really love to know a little bit more about you.
Sure. I'm 23 years old. I'm from New Jersey in the US, but I was born in Lima, Peru, but raised in the US. And I decided to come study in the Netherlands. I originally came I was dating somebody at the time.
The best reason.
Yeah, for love, right?
Yeah.
But I never knew anything about the Netherlands, really, except for Amsterdam, like most Americans. But I wanted to know more. I've always loved traveling. So I invited myself and figured, what if I love the Netherlands? And after 6 months here, I wanted to stay. And it's not so easy for a non-EU citizen to just pick up and move here. So I decided to continue my studies because that was the easiest way to get a visa, a residence permit for here. And I didn't know what I wanted to do originally for my career, but I knew that I really loved talking to people, meeting new people, and I wanted to do something meaningful. So I was looking into the universities here and I found Fontys University of Applied Sciences here in Eindhoven. And I looked at their study programs and I found international business. And I just thought it was a great opportunity to meet more people from all over the world because it's international. And the study program is in English. So that was great too. And yeah, now here I am.
So I hear that you are saying that you didn't know initially what you want to do. I think many students in high school find themselves in this situation where you have absolutely no idea what you want to do with your life.
Exactly. Exactly.
So how do you approach this situation? I hear, for example, that you looked at yourself, your strengths. What do you love to do in life, right?
Yeah.
Talking to people, you are probably extroverted a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
So tell me more about that. How did you make your decision?
I wanted to focus on my main strengths without putting too much pressure on myself, right? Because like you said, a lot of kids in the US who are finishing high school have to think now, okay, what am I going to devote my next 4 to 8 years?
And then probably the whole life, because education defines your career.
So I wanted something broad that I can find along the way. International business, you can kind of do whatever you want. You can be a manager, a director, you can do human resources, business process management, supply chains, logistics, you can do anything, right? And I think that for me was the deciding factor, the fact that I could start broad and find the smaller picture along the way. And the internship is really helping. Fontys really gave me the opportunity to explore and still provide that guidance. So I didn't feel lost.
So listen to yourself and your strengths. If you are not the one who, for example, knows, I want to study medicine and be doctor. If you are a little bit on the broader scale, choose the broader study, which will allow you many paths,
for sure.
At least for your bachelor's, like you did. And then try to find the university, which gives you a lot of internship opportunities, right? So you can actually practice hands-on in the real business or field of what you are studying. Did I sum it up correctly?
Right on with that.
So let's talk a little bit more about international business. Which year are you?
I'm currently in my third year.
Third year.
Yeah.
Perfect. So tell me more about your studies. What do you do? What are your lectures? How does maybe your day look like?
Right now, I'm not attending any lectures because I'm
Yeah.
doing my internship. But the courses, they give you a little bit of everything. No matter where you end up in business, I think it's good to know a little bit of everything because, yeah, your colleagues are going to be in all different departments. So it's kind of nice to know a little bit about what they do. And also, you can really see, you could start from a very beginner standpoint. For example, I took a bunch of courses for Excel, Power BI, more analytics courses that I don't necessarily have a lot of interest in data and numbers or anything like that. But I think it was very useful to learn from a beginner point, Excel, how to create dashboards and stuff like that. It wasn't like they were just throwing me into this class for the sake of having a class. It was, they want you to walk away with something, even if they know that's not going to be your entire career. What I really liked about Fontys is that the lectures don't feel like you're just a number in a lecture hall. It's really conversational almost. They really encourage you to ask questions. I know a lot of professors say this, but there's no such thing as a stupid question. We're all there to learn, and they don't put too much pressure on us because they know we're students. It's a really good learning environment.
If you're a little bit on the shy side, I don't know, is it your case, but you might find it challenging, this environment where you need to speak up a lot. How do you deal with this?
I'm not too shy,
Yeah.
but of course I've met some of my good friends now. I remember they were very quiet in the beginning. So I think just for the quiet people, just really find someone you can trust, honestly, because yeah, in a study like international business, there's so many different people from all over the world that I don't believe that you won't find somebody for you. Somebody that you can stick by, ask questions, go along the journey with.
Talking about personality, which you need to have to be successful in your major. For example, what would you tell to someone considering international business?
Yeah. I think for international business, the most important personality traits are what makes a leader. And I know that can be very broad. There's plenty of things that make a good leader. But I think being able to take that initiative, not only for yourself, but for other people, not shying away from, oh, I know this and I can maybe help in this area. Not shying away from your strengths and where you can add in conversations and in projects. I think if you are an introvert, it will be a little bit more difficult, but it's not impossible because I've met plenty of introverts who are actually really good leaders. It's just that coming out of their shell and actually jumping in and talking to the team is probably the only difficult part for them. But I've seen plenty of introverts who, once they get into the swing of things, they're really good.
You talked a little bit about lectures. Now I'm curious about group projects. I've heard it's also a big deal, right?
Actually, recently, I just did my minor. The minor was China and the global economy. So we actually spent 2 weeks in China, in Shanghai. And that was interesting, especially compared to the other IB projects I'd done, because usually you're only working with students who are already in your program in IB. But for this project, we got to work with students who were in engineering and ICT, and also with Chinese students, part of Shanghai Institute of Technology. So it was, even though IB is very diverse, China is very different, and how they operate there, especially in schools, is very different. So for example, our team from Eindhoven went to Shanghai and we met with the students part of our team there. And I think for the first week, it was mostly just trying to get them to break out of their shells because hierarchy is very different there too. We would have coaching sessions with our lecturers, and for them, it was very awkward sitting in a group and talking face to face and actually asking questions to your coaches, because there, with all their lecturers and teachers, they're always at the front of the class. It's not too common to question them. That was very interesting, very different, and definitely challenging in the beginning, especially language barriers.
I can imagine, but it's so cool because your major is international business.
Yeah.
So you need to actually learn how to function in multicultural environment as part of study portals where we have people from more than 60, I think, nationalities. I will fix myself if I'm wrong. I know that sometimes it can be very challenging to know that just different culture brings the different approach to the workspace. You get to experience that already in your bachelor's.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And I think for anybody who experience is one of the most important things for them, I really would recommend really any applied sciences university or college, just because it does give you that experience.
For people who don't know what is applied science university, can you give a little bit more context?
Sure. So for example, at least at Fontys, a lot of our projects and our grades are not based off of papers or anything like that. It's they want us to go out into the field and gather research, gather knowledge, actually put ourselves into the shoes of a business person. We are encouraged to go out and talk to as many people in, for example, the high-tech campus or just anywhere that there's business professionals in Eindhoven. They encourage you to go out and speak with them and figure out what it is that they do, why they chose that. In an applied sciences school, it's really about exploring and just really immersing yourself in the business world. They really encourage you to take your education into your own hands. So if you have an idea for a project or for an assignment or for something that could be worth a grade, by all means, you're encouraged to share that with your lecturers, your coaches, coordinators. So yeah.
So guys, when you search for your bachelor's on bachelorsportal.com or master's on mastersportal.com, make sure you check if the university is applied sciences. That will bring you to this amazing place where Max is studying right now. I want to ask you about the graduation. So what do you actually need to graduate?
For the graduation, there is a graduation project, which also includes an internship as well. So I will be doing another internship in my 4th year. But again, that they also give you a lot of independence with. So there's no strict criteria or strict format. It's mostly like a portfolio, and you would go to a company and find out, okay, do they have a problem? Is it something that I can maybe fix or help clarify? And then you just gather research and you immerse yourself in the company and figure out, what do they need and how can I help? And it's really cool because I've seen actually a lot of students, their projects come to fruition where companies have actually implemented them.
And then you have a supervisor?
Yep, so we have a supervisor for example, for my internship now, Nell is my supervisor. So you have a supervisor within the company, and then also at Fontys, there's a supervisor, and they're more of a mentor. You go to them if you're stuck on something or if you have questions about your project.
Just for people who don't know, Nell is our HR person.
We love Nell.
She has a turtle.
And a big dog and a big cat. It's like she's
and two boys.
And 2 boys. She has her own little zoo there.
We will not add boys to the zoo, but she has the full house.
Full house. I think that's a better way to put it.
Tell me more about your current internship at Study Portals. So you're doing HR.
Yep.
What so far did you learn, and how do you like it?
Yeah, so it sits in the P&C team, the people and culture team, but it is with talent acquisition. It's been amazing. I've been learning the whole process from when we get a job posting from the hiring managers when they want to start recruiting for a role, all the way to when we hire someone. So it's been really rewarding to get to offer the role to someone, basically their dream job, and to see them actually in the office is also really surreal. To know that I helped put them there has been really cool.
Did you already participate in some of the new hiring?
Igor actually, who's our new account manager for Italy and Spain. I remember when I first started, we were super busy. We had, I don't even know how many roles, maybe 12, 15. And we've cut it down to about 5 or 7 now. It's really rewarding to know too that I've helped move the process along.
What do you do daily?
A lot of emails, a lot of scheduling, interviews and meetings. Now I've been growing more confident in looking through the profiles and seeing whether or not they're a good fit.
And when you're back to studying, what would your normal day look like while you actually need to go to the classroom?
So I live quite a bit of ways from Fontys, but it's about a 30-minute bike ride, which still isn't too bad. So I have to get up quite early for my 9 a.m. classes usually. Some days are 9 to 5 there at Fontys, but I enjoy the campus, especially coming from the US. The campuses there are very different.
How?
They are like cities. Can be cool, except for when you have only a certain amount of time to get to your next class and you feel like you need to take a taxi to get to your next class. But it's just nice that there's an outdoor area. Things are very close by. So if you want to grab a cheaper lunch than maybe from the canteen, then it's possible. And I think it's a very good campus to socialize with. I've also met some Americans there, which is very interesting for me because I have not met a lot of Americans here. Most of my day is meeting with my peers, because usually if we have projects, most of my day is planning meetings, planning next steps.
Sounds very interesting. And lunch, you have it there?
Lunch, I Usually we'll go to an Albertheim or to the grocery store.
Local supermarket.
Local supermarket, Jumbo.
Yeah.
Very handy. Or some shawarma. Shawarma is always great to grab with some
Yeah.
friends. And then after class, maybe grab some drinks with some friends. And the center of Eindhoven is not too far. It's always nice to take a walk after class and grab a pint or something and discuss the day.
Sounds like a dream student life.
Oh, it really is. It really is. I tell my friends back at home and they're like, there's a bar on your campus? That's so weird.
Even in the office, we have a tradition to have Friday drinks after
Yeah?
work. I think that's part of the culture. That's how we bond.
I think it's also a good selling point.
For sure. My last question will be about your career aspirations and also career paths normally graduates take after international business bachelors. I know you can go to masters.
Yeah.
That's one of the ways. Do you consider that?
For me, no, just because my father has a company in South America. And so it would be really interesting to get to know how I could fit in there. Possibly in the future, I really want to build my own path first and see if that could be valuable for his company. But I really want to grow first as an HR professional, really. And I've really been finding that talent acquisition and recruitment is also something that I hadn't necessarily thought that much about before in the past, but I'm heavily considering that could also be a future path for me, is furthering myself as a talent acquisition.
And what also could be the career path for your peers in international business bachelors?
Yeah, that's the other cool part, is you discuss with your buddies about what you plan to do in 5 years or after you graduate. And some of my friends, they want to work in warehouse and they want to solve logistics problems, for example, which is super interesting. Some of my friends just want to work in finance. They want to be accountants, which I can't do numbers or anything like that. But it's good to know that I'll have some contacts who are good with that. And yeah, there's also some of my friends, they have really big dreams. They want to be directors. They want to be CEOs, already planning their own company ideas.
This is also a very big advantage of this major, which brings
sure.
all in one place and you get to know each other, and probably in future you will help each other, right?
100%. And
it's about connections.
Exactly. You learn how important networking is. Because you're a student doesn't mean you can't network. Doesn't mean there's not something valuable you can bring to the table. That's actually one of the most valuable things is
connections.
Connections.
Actually, Study Portals is the business which started when our CEO was student with his student peers. And now we are working all over the world. One advice you would give to anyone thinking about studying abroad and considering international business?
Yeah, I think for me, there's always a reason not to do something, and there's always doubts. But I always say, just do it. There's always an opportunity, a path, a way out. There's gonna be something for you here or just abroad. It might not be necessarily international business or whatever you decide to go do, but I think that if you're thinking about it, there's a reason. And so I say, just do it.
Thanks a lot, Max. It was really nice talking to you, and I hope it was super helpful for our listeners. Good luck with your next steps. Don't forget to subscribe and leave your comment. We will make sure to personally come and answer all your questions.